it really isn't wrong to change your perspective in life. I think people are really so shackled down with the idea that if you thought a particular way at a particular time and said things in a particular trajectory, you have no option but to stick with that and die on that hill. That isn't growth. It isn't evolution. It isn't intelligent to be that way. And I don't mean it in any form of disrespect, but honestly, people who actually explore their minds, explore their thoughts, opinions, and why they think the way that they do are usually quite open to hearing other people's perspectives, narratives, and opinions, and also challenging their own thoughts, opinions, and narratives, because we usually do form our opinions and our thought processes based on our lived experience, the lived experience around those from people around us, from our readings, from our education, from other people who we come across who we find to be interesting or whose thought processes we see value in, from different content creators nowadays, different documentaries, just different historical factors that help shape why we think the way that we do. But to say you remain stuck, religion as well does play a role in a lot of thoughts and creation of boundaries and things of that nature, morality. So you to say because that was your opinion you will never change it, even if you hear information which is compelling enough to challenge why that was your thought, is worrying. And unfortunately, in today's world, you are held to a particular stance, especially if you have a pretty big following and whatnot. Whatever your thoughts were at the time, you're expected to stay there. And that's not growth. I mean, you can't expect what you thought at 5 years old to be what you think at 25 years old. It can't be what you think at even 30 or 40, because as evolution happens in the human journey, so much more experience, exposure, challenging of narratives comes to play, because that's just growth. And to stay stuck at a particular level simply because that is what you thought then really does you a disservice. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with changing your thought. There's absolutely nothing wrong with changing your mind about something, provided you understand that if at the time when you spoke about something you impacted several lives, especially if it was online, you do owe those people an apology and just an explanation as to why your mind has changed in the way that it has, and you're allowed to move forward from there. Because at the same time as you speak, and no one is forced to listen to what you say, nobody is forced to take what you say as the gospel truth, we still do have a responsibility over the influence we have over others. And it is irresponsible to be so blatant about something and then you change your opinion on it and just move along without informing the people, say, who you have influence over. So yeah, the same boldness that was used to state particular points should be the same boldness that's used to be like, oh, that didn't augur out well, that didn't play out the way I thought it would, and so my thoughts have changed about that. My support about that has changed. I've seen certain things which are not consistent with what I think is appropriate, and moving forward, either I'll continue on this trajectory or I won't. You're free to do that. Nobody holds you to a place of stagnation, because the inability to actually think beyond what your thoughts had been is stagnation. There's absolutely no growth there. Yeah, so it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your opinion. It's okay to change your thoughts, your perspectives, and your narrative. It's okay to change your stance in life. It's part of the human development.